world's biggest economies, the most successful banks, and the fastest growing investors, they've quietly embraced a system most of us have forgotten: halal investing. The same principles we were given centuries ago, the ones rooted in justice, ethics, and transparency, today they're being used by the very people who once called them outdated. Did you know that some of the top global companies and financial giants are silently applying Islamic principles in their investment models while the Muslim world looks the other way? This isn't just finance. This is a wake-up call. This is the truth they won't teach you in school. And by the time this video ends, you won't just understand the power of halal investing. You'll wonder how the world let it slip away from the very people who created it. Get ready. This will shake your perception of money, power, and what the future truly holds. Halal investing is fundamentally different from conventional investing because it does not merely seek profit. It seeks profit with purpose. At its core, halal investing aligns financial growth with ethical responsibility, spiritual accountability, and social justice. It prohibits investing in industries considered harmful, such as alcohol, gambling, weapons, and interest-based banking, and instead encourages investments in sectors that promote real economic value, community well-being, and fairness. This system is not only designed to avoid harm, but to create long-term positive impact. What makes halal investing powerful is that it builds discipline, trust, and stability within financial behavior. When interest Riba is removed from the equation, speculation is discouraged and risk-sharing becomes the foundation. This forces companies and investors to partner in real, tangible ventures with transparent outcomes and honest contracts. It means you can't just make money for money. You must build something, support something, and grow something meaningful. And care, build. You should not risk without paying. In a world flooded with economic fraud, manipulation, and exploitation, halal investing stands out as a solution grounded in morality. It challenges the greed-driven mindset that dominates the financial world and replaces it with a model that is God-conscious and community-centered. And while many see it as restrictive, in truth, it unlocks a form of financial freedom where your wealth doesn't cost someone else's suffering. It transforms investing from a selfish game into a spiritual journey. It teaches that wealth is a test, not a trophy, and investing is an act of trust, not just in markets, but in the one who provides. When Muslims embrace this mindset, they stop chasing trends and start leading movements. They stop copying the world and start creating systems rooted in divine guidance. This is not old school religion. It's future-proof finance wrapped in wisdom that's been waiting to rise. Global markets are gradually waking up to the wisdom hidden in Islamic financial principles, and halal investing is becoming the quiet force behind a shift that could redefine how the world views wealth. For decades, the mainstream financial system has prioritized rapid gains, high-risk leverage, and unchecked speculation. But now, after crisis upon crisis, institutions are turning their eyes toward models that offer sustainability, stability, and trust. Halal investing doesn't just reject interest and harmful sectors. It promotes investments backed by real assets, clear contracts, and equitable risk sharing. That's not just ethical, that's smart economics. As the global economy reels from the consequences of reckless lending and volatile speculation, halal finance offers a calm, grounded alternative that emphasizes long-term growth over short-term greed. Countries like the UK, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, and even parts of Europe are integrating halal financial products into their systems, not just for their Muslim populations, but because the structure itself brings resilience. Sukuk Islamic bonds, profit-sharing partnerships, and asset-backed securities are gaining ground among non-hustle investors who see value in ethical frameworks that still produce results. This isn't about faith alone. It's about a future that needs structure, fairness, and values at its core. When the world's largest banks begin to offer Sharia-compliant funds, it sends a signal that halal investing is no longer niche, it's necessary. As inflation rises, bubbles burst, and trust fades, the principles of halal finance, clarity, ethics, justice start to shine. Investors across borders are no longer just asking what will make money. They're asking what will matter. And halal investing answers both. It's no longer a religious concept hidden in textbooks. It's becoming a global model for sustainable wealth. And as this awareness grows, so does the opportunity for Muslims to lead, not just by faith, but by example. Halal investing is no longer confined to religious circles. It's breaking barriers in the global fintech revolution. The rise of digital platforms tailored to ethical investing is making halal finance more accessible, transparent, and scalable than ever before. From AI-driven, Sharia-compliant robo-advisors to blockchain-based halal investment platforms, the ecosystem is evolving rapidly to serve both observant, tech-savvy millennials and Gen Z investors are leading this shift, demanding transparency, purpose, and ethical grounding in their portfolios. They don't just want returns, they want meaning behind every dollar. Halal fintech platforms are delivering just that by offering real-time screenings of stocks, automated zakat calculations, and tools that help investors avoid interest-bearing or non-halal industries with precision. The impact of this shift is massive. It's no longer about manually checking a company's compliance. Now, advanced analytics and machine learning do that work instantly, scaling halal investing to a global level. Apps like Wahid, Zoya, and other emerging Islamic fintechs are leveling the playing field, giving retail investors the power to build halal portfolios with the ease of a few taps. This democratization of halal investing is transforming it from an elite or specialized strategy to a global movement. Venture capital is also taking notice, with millions being poured into Islamic fintech startups that combine faith with cutting-edge innovation. The result is a new hybrid, investors driven by value and values. In a world fatigued by unethical practices, these platforms provide a sanctuary of principles without sacrificing performance. And as regulations evolve and awareness spreads, halal fintech isn't just following the market, it's shaping the future of how wealth will be managed, earned, and grown. The global rise of ESG, environmental, social, and governance investing has created a unique alignment with halal investment principles. Both models emphasize ethical practices, transparency, and social responsibility, core values that have been embedded in Islamic finance for over a millennium. While ESG is a modern framework born out of corporate responsibility and sustainability, its objectives mirror many aspects of Sharia-compliant investing. Halal investing inherently excludes industries like alcohol, gambling, weapons, and interest-based financial institutions, which often align with ESG exclusions based on ethical or environmental concerns. This overlap is not accidental, but speaks to a deeper convergence of value-driven investing across faith-based and secular systems. As global investors demand more accountability from the companies they support, the line between ESG-conscious funds and halal portfolios is becoming increasingly blurred. Financial institutions are beginning to recognize this synergy, with some ESG funds now seeking Sharia certification to broaden their investor base and demonstrate deeper ethical commitment. On the other hand, halal investment firms are integrating ESG metrics to showcase their compliance with broader global sustainability trends. This convergence is opening doors to unprecedented collaboration and expansion. It is allowing Muslim investors to confidently enter global markets without compromising on religious principles, while also appealing to ethical investors from all backgrounds. Moreover, this alignment gives halal investing a seat at the global table of sustainable finance, challenging the misconception that faith-based investing is isolated or outdated. Instead, it's proving to be deeply relevant in a world that is increasingly prioritizing purpose over profit. This synergy is not just strategic, it's transformative. It means that halal investing, once seen as niche, now stands at the intersection of two of the most powerful financial trends of our time: ethical wealth and sustainable growth. Halal investing is creating new pathways for underrepresented Muslim populations around the world to participate in wealth building without compromising their faith. For decades, many Muslims have stayed away from traditional stock markets, insurance, and interest-based savings out of concern for violating Islamic principles. This absence from mainstream financial systems has contributed to a significant wealth gap in Muslim majority and minority communities. However, the emergence of Sharia-compliant funds, digital investment platforms, and Islamic fintech startups has begun to reverse that trend. These tools make it easier than ever for Muslims to invest in ways that align with their values, whether through equities that avoid haram industries or profit-sharing models that eliminate riba. This inclusivity doesn't just open the door to new investors, it empowers entire communities. It builds financial literacy, confidence, and long-term planning habits among groups that have historically been underserved or skeptical of conventional finance. Moreover, this financial awakening is taking place at a time when global Muslim populations are young, tech-savvy, and increasingly interested in entrepreneurship and digital finance. As halal investment options become more accessible through mobile apps, robo-advisors, and AI-driven Islamic finance platforms, the barriers to entry continue to drop. This democratization of ethical investing has the potential to lift millions out of financial exclusion and into meaningful wealth participation. It also creates a ripple effect across generations, teaching younger Muslims that they don't have to choose between faith and financial success. For many, this is more than investing. It's about reclaiming economic dignity. As this movement gains momentum, it sends a message that ethical wealth building is not just a privilege for the elite, but a right for every believer seeking barakah through responsible means. Hey, with that, tomorrow, thank you for your time. And before we say goodbye, tomorrow, thank you for your time. And before we say goodbye, certain responsible means. It's about ownership, empowerment, and building legacies that are not only profitable, but principled. Halal investing is not just an ethical option for Muslims. It's rapidly becoming a global standard for sustainable, responsible finance. As the world faces increasing crises of trust in financial institutions, more investors, regardless of religion, are searching for options that reflect integrity, transparency, and long-term stability. Halal investment principles rooted in avoiding exploitative practices like interest riba, excessive uncertainty, garar, and unethical industries offer a structure that many now see as not only moral, but wise. These principles align closely with the rising demand for environmental, social, and governance (ESG) investing. In fact, many analysts have begun to draw parallels between halal investing and ESG because both avoid harmful sectors and emphasize ethical business practices. But halal finance goes even further. It enforces a faith-driven accountability that is deeply rooted in spiritual responsibility. This level of discipline creates a different kind of investor mindset, one that prioritizes steady, lawful growth over risky, high-reward speculation. The result is a portfolio model that appeals to both Muslims and non-Muslims looking for stability in an uncertain global market. Western financial institutions have started to quietly integrate these halal principles into their offerings, not only to access Muslim markets, but because the values simply work. This global shift hints at a future where halal investing is no longer seen as niche, but as a blueprint for resilient economic systems. In this way, Islam's centuries-old economic guidance is being rediscovered and repackaged for a modern world hungry for meaning in money. As halal investing proves itself in volatile times, it is poised to shape how wealth is built, distributed, and preserved, not just in Muslim communities, but across the entire globe. The next wave of ethical finance may not come from Silicon Valley or Wall Street, but from timeless principles found in the pages of the Quran. As we look ahead to the future of global wealth, one truth becomes undeniable. Halal investing is no longer just a religious obligation. It's a financial revolution. Hala Za'eta, Halaran, Zapahana, Tahishen, or Yusha, Habesha, Kachoto, Zashenta, Seisha, Shashensa, Seisha, rooted in centuries of wisdom, built on ethics, fairness, and social responsibility. It offers a roadmap, not just for Muslims, but for anyone seeking dignity, purpose, and sustainability in how they grow their wealth. In a world shaken by financial crises, greed, and reckless risk-taking, halal principles stand tall, not as an alternative, but as an answer. The future of finance may wear many faces, but it will speak one language: trust. And halal investing speaks it fluently. May you walk boldly on the path of truth, invest with purpose, and rise with integrity. The future is not just waiting, it's watching. Choose wisely, grow ethically. And thank you for giving your time, your attention, and your heart to this message. Good luck on your journey toward building wealth that blesses, not just profits.